And joining me now, especially for us, is Melissa Chen, contributing editor for the Spectator USA. Melissa, thank you so much for coming on the U.S. Report. Now, I want to talk about these anti-lockdown protests, which have become anti-regime protests. Biden's silence, Joe Biden's silence, is speaking volumes about where they stand on this issue, isn't it?
Yeah, some analysts will claim, and I've heard this actually being spread around, that it's actually strategic for Biden's administration to be a bit more minimalist on these reactions to the protests. Reason being they give is that, you don't want the Chinese to be able to use that narrative to say, oh, look, the foreign forces are at play again. They are the ones actually fomenting a lot of this stuff. My argument to them is that it's happening anyway. This is right out of every single dictator's playbook, from Iran to China to Russia. The moment there is some sort of civil disobedience, the narrative that they put out is always that this is foreign backed. It is not organic. It is not what the people really want. And that is very powerful. But these regimes are going to do it anyway. And I agree with you. I think that it is a shame that the Biden administration has not come out stronger and made some sort of compelling speech. I mean, at the same time, this stuff is going on in Iran as well. And, it's a great opportunity for the U.S. to be confident about its values. And it's something that we've been seeing a lot less lately.
And it's not just the Biden administration that's been, really not standing up for freedom here. Apple has restricted access to the AirDrop function on their phones in China, so that they aren't able to meet up and share information in the same way that, of course, anybody else in the rest of the world can use their AirDrop function. Now, this is not the first time they've done this. In 2019, they blocked an app that people were using to track police against protesters. Is Apple and the big American sort of corporate big tech enterprises, are they also on the wrong side of this here?
At the end of the day, Apple has a lot of interest in China, both in terms of the market, but also in terms of manufacturing. And there have been uprisings recently at the Foxconn factory about a month ago. So we're starting to see, this come to a head. I mean, at the end of the day, companies like Apple, like even Coca-Cola, many of them are highly implicated in China. Their supply chains are exposed there. And so you have to wonder, when they take actions like this, is this some sort of an appeasement to the regime? Because they need to play nice in order to have their businesses work right.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can remember, when I was younger, the left would protest against companies doing business in South Africa, and they still do it about companies doing it in Palestine, but in the West Bank and Israel. And you don't see that anywhere like that with these things in China. So you got to wonder how much of that is about those consumer goods. But finally, it is something, isn't it, though, to see these protests which start out over COVID-0 and the way they're being treated and regarded versus the way, say, anti-lockdown protests were in the West. There's a bit of hypocrisy there as well, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. And Exhibit A is Justin Trudeau, who came out forcefully, actually, unlike President Biden, made some very nice statements about the protests going on in China. He supported the right of the protesters to protest. And, of course, everybody knows what he did to his own anti-lockdown protests in Ottawa. He not only invoked the Emergencies Act to quash the protests, there was also freezing of bank accounts. And so it's really hard for a government like, Canada's government to kind of take a position on this, because they just look so hypocritical about what happened.